Welcome one and all on a Monday. Great to have everybody with us. I'm sorry that my Derby picks ran second and third. You don't get a prize for that. But this man next to me,
yes,
he nailed it.
Yes.
Rico also, with his bet on sovereignty, supports human rights violations. So
I
congratulations.
love horse racing now.
I'm glad. That's right. You delighted in what a 10-1 shot can do for you.
I'm like, this is that excitement that you always speak of.
Yes. Welcome.
Oh, my goodness. The only thing missing was I should have put on a hat and a blazer and been able to.
Yeah, or the Sheikh's daughter. Either way. So we'll just move it along. I'm sorry. I just can't. Can't do it with Godolphin.
He's a bad owner?
Just Google. Or how about this? Ask Rico about the cut-in he had to do a couple of years ago. Well, we do want to point out there are accusations. He made his daughter disappear. Like it was the most awkward thing in the world. I know, but 10-1. Congratulations.
It was 10-1.
So
I didn't think journalism would win.
Let's get to some of the business of the day. And look, we have a lot of cleanup to do. So look, you guys have a willful choice you can make. All right, if you think this is a Sparty radio, then get bent. Go do whatever you want. The reality is I don't take a paycheck from my school. So I'm just going to shoot you straight like I have the whole way through. Remember the part where I said to you, go ahead, play your games. Buy your T-shirt, take your dad, enjoy it. You will not like everything that's after this. Well, we're in the after phase. But the problem I have is so many things get misreported and misrepresented or key details get left out. I just feel like a janitor. I feel like I need a mop and a bucket. Like you and I talked about this. I talked to Cookies and I'm like, well, Jim, you realize Sherrone Moore was up for a level 2. This has nothing to do with the 6 level 1s. The level 2 was him destroying evidence, him deleting the text. You know, because when texts are innocuous, you always delete them. Right?
Happy birthday. Delete.
So the problem is, okay, they're self-imposing a 2-game ban. Personally, Rico, I feel like people are like conflating the issue or acting like, well, now the NCAA will accept it. The negotiating time is long past. The hearing for the Committee on Infractions is June 6th and 7th now. Mm-hmm. In a 24-hour span, you had Santano leave, your football coach gets another suspension, and the COI gets announced as June 6th and 7th. I have no idea. I've said this from the beginning. I have no idea what the NCAA will do. I'm not going to live in a world of should. Should is Michigan should be strapped to an atom bomb and detonated in the middle of the Pacific. But it's not happening.
But I think you missed an important part.
Tell me.
Self-imposed 2-game suspension, and we're going to pick the 2 games.
Yeah. I know Spartan fans want me to get angry about that. I can't. I actually laugh.
And that's it's not an anger thing. It's that is so ballsy.
It's Michigan.
That is Abdul Carter saying, can I have 56?
And then he goes, how about 11? Phil Simms. But look, all I can tell you is this is only a piece of the bigger picture, the 6 level 1s. So if the NCAA gives Sherrone as a repeat offender a show cause, you could be suspended for no games, but you can't coach in college. So I just don't know what to tell you. To me, it's too little too late. I don't think the NCAA is going to look at this and be like, oh, okay, Michigan took their medicine. That's like a kid breaking curfew, coming home, and mom and dad say, you're grounded. You can't have the car tomorrow night. And the kid goes, yeah, but tomorrow night's New Year's Eve. How about January 7th? I got an open calendar.
And it's rainy. Yes, it'd be snowing.
So the NCAA doesn't have to accept this. We're so far, because here's the thing. I want to just, Rico, tell me if I'm wrong on this. Because this is the one thing I feel like many, not all. I don't want to paint all Michigan fans badly. They do a good enough job themselves. But the things that are established in all of this, right, that the NCAA has established, or what they consider, aggravating factors. I mean, for one, the university knew. They had enough direct knowledge. They could have put a stop to it, but they didn't self-report when it really matters. Right? Okay, that's one. 2, was anyone in the football program cooperative? No. Remember when they came to campus and got ghosted?
They all left.
Remember all the written requests they didn't respond to? Then you had one coach, who's since been fired, it's hard to keep up, basically tell players and others, don't talk. It's just all of it. Okay, so then you have the written request thing. bottom line, your AD has defied this from the start. Your school has. And when you look at it, Rico, ultimately, this is a nothing burger to me. This is something that Michigan is trying to do so they can play the victim on the back end and say, well, the NCAA is a bunch of meanies. And I have no idea the scope. I don't get into the should. From the beginning of this, I said it'll never be what I want. So I'm rolling with it.
Right.
But no, I do think the NCAA is going to hit them. And I don't think self-imposing on May 5th, after you had over a year to do this, I don't think it carries weight.
When the text messages first came out, you could have said, you know what, inappropriate. I'm going to go ahead and suspend myself for 2 games. And I think you're right. At that point, NCAA would have said, all right, we finally got some adults here. We got some people who are taking accountability. But instead, we heard it was no big deal, some birthday text messages, and I delete all of my stuff. And
the problem I have with all of that, though, is have the Michigan media been right about anything?
No.
Anything at all. Like if we're Sparty Radio, fine. I don't get paid by that institution, and I'm not interested in having friends at either. Have they been right about anything?
The only time they're right is when they say nothing.
Okay,
because at least they can say, oh, well, we didn't lie. Well, you didn't say anything.
Here's the other problem. When Michigan put out their, when they put out their statement, they admitted they cheated, basically. They said it. Mm-hmm. They admitted what they – so, guys, I'm just not going to overreact to it today. There's no screaming and yelling from me. I'm also not going to sit here and tell you – well, that'll do. It's not even in the realm of the bigger picture of all of this. If Michigan self-imposed 2 games for a grade 2, how do you answer to the program at large being up on 6 level 1s? There's a very good chance. I can't say it factually. I'm just saying there's a chance Sherrone's done. I hate to tell you that, but I don't think that's beyond the pale when a guy's a repeat offender. He's already been suspended twice, once for the recruiting scandal. Keep up with me. You need kind of scandal monopoly here. So he was once with the recruiting, once with the text messages. That's before we even get to what happens to the program at large. You've got guys who went to the NFL that are given years, plural, show causes that effectively ends their soft landing. No, I don't think the 2 games is going to play. And if it does, then it just, again, I think the sport's a joke anyways. But go ahead, because I know you want to take it a different direction.
No, Mike. Here's the thing. I think they're trying to do this to be preemptive and say, okay, we're willing to take our punishment, knowing that they're getting ready to meet in June, the 6th and 7th. So what if we just give you all of this now? Would you please just let this go away? And I will say this: if the NCAA allows Michigan to essentially get away with this with a slap on the wrist, what it's going to do is something that I think is going to be worse than the transfer portal, worse than NIL. Because now what you have said is just cheat. And not just cheat, blatantly cheat. Out in the open. Do whatever you want. Set aside about $4 million to pay a fine. And just do whatever. Literally, you could... You know what? Kid runs for a touchdown for another team. You could have an agent saying, hey, now keep running all the way to East Lansing or keep running all the way to Columbus. We'll pay you this. Wow, did you see that sign? Yeah, because it doesn't matter. You can outright cheat. If the NCAA does not really do something with this, it's going to set the new table of, well, anything goes. You could do whatever because they did whatever. I mean, as far as recruiting and all of the different stuff and all the smoke that is just burning in Ann Arbor, but you keep telling me there's no fire, but yet and still smoke everywhere. President leaving after having a contract to 2033. Yeah, I think it's about time for me to go. After 3 years, yeah. You know what? Go Gators. Something's going on there. Something is wrong there.
Look,
and for this, and to do this whole 2 game right before, and then you still aren't even sincere with this because it's the audacity. I'm going to pick the 2 games.
He's a runaway train. I'll be back at 4. I'm just letting him roll. I'm not getting in the way of this. The guy picked the 10-1 shot in the Derby. He's feeling himself. He's bricked up. No, I mean, the Ono thing, look, I understand what's being put out there is, well, it's political and how he handled Gaza. And it's like, or, hear me out, the guy just got a massive raise in October, and you're right, contract through 2032. might be the billion-dollar lawsuit you're staring down because your former offensive coordinator was hacking the database and medical records and photos and the rest, along with your football program being embroiled in a multitude of scandals. And no one in their right mind wants that Florida job. You can Google why. Like, I'm not doing your homework for you.
He is the only person.
Correct.
Like, it literally just has to be rubber stamp.
Because no one wants it. No one would leave. There's me saying something nice. No one would leave U of M for Florida of their right mind. Unless they had some wild custody battle and their wife and kid moved to Florida. Nobody would take that job. I mean, Michigan's endowment is $20 billion. Florida's is $3 billion. And how you get to run Florida versus how you get to run Michigan, different. The point I'm making is, I won't overreact to this. I know where you're headed with it. I have no faith in the NCAA, but I just feel like, yeah, anyone who wants to tell me Sherrone with the 2 games and that takes care, you're not paying attention. You're not living in reality. And just because you self-impose it, the NCAA doesn't have to listen to it. Yeah. It begs the biggest question, which is, why did Michigan not lay on the sword last year, knowing they were going to suck, and just be done with it? And here's the other thing. You brought up the suspended for game 3 and 4. You're making a 2-week story a 4-week story. It just, none of that adds up to me. You've admitted you cheated, so you can take the medicine or not. You can't be half pregnant.
Oh, well, no, it's so that Sherrone could go up against his alma mater in Oklahoma.
Who effing cares?
I'm with you. Or it's your freshman quarterback's first road game, and you probably want to be there for that.
248-539-9797. God, you do what you want with it, guys. There's no yelling and screaming, and you know my faith quotient in the NCAA or the sport is null. It's just but I'm also not going to come on the air and lie to you. Like, come on. So what do you think happens? Do you wish Michigan would lay on the sword? What?
Why not just go week 10 and 12 and just skip the
Purdue and Northwestern?
Yeah.
Again, it's not going to hold
with
water.
The week in between to really think about it.
Rico, it won't hold water. If anything, doesn't that just inflame the NCAA more?
It does. But the sad reality is, I think they thought they were doing themselves a service. And, hey, we'll take care of this. And it's like,
the service could have been, you could have just thrown Sherrone out with the bathwater last year and maybe shown real sacrifice, and this would be done, I think. But you didn't want to negotiate, so don't play like you do now. Also, too, at some point, your own school admitted they cheated. You kind of got to put the sword away and just go, all right, what are we doing? We'll see. June 6th and 7th will be interesting, I guess. Go ahead, Rico. We'll knock a few calls. We're certainly not doing this all day, but we wanted to at least just kind of give you the thoughts, and away we go. Rico, take it away.